Hello, Victor here, RestoringMercedes.com, and this one is the continuation of other parts, and this is part number 13. Now, I looked up the old video, so this is a 13th part. Okay, so 13th part is obviously just a number is already not good, and there are some issues and there are some problems, but this is what the roof looks like. Yes, you see some dirt here and there, but you know what, in real you can see these roofs done and then pictures made, but in real life 2 days later it's just going to look like this, or maybe even worse, just because it's real life. Windows get dirty and what have you. Obviously I'm going to clean it up before it's done, but the story here is that I glued this bar and I glued up the front, right? So now, because it's part number 13, obviously we have problems, and the problems were that I actually over focused, if you will, on the tension on the rear section, and I was tightening up the rear section with the old canvas still installed that was stretched out. Okay, so that's number one. That's a big mistake, and because the old one was so stretched out, and I thought that these windows will not stretch out the way they're supposed to, because you know, like the old canvas, right? So, but that was a mistake. I was over concentrating on the rear portion because the first roof that I received, this portion was too short, and I was extremely focused and just like completely bummed out with that. So I was like, let me just get the rear section first done so it's tight. But at the end of the day, this particular company, these guys who made this roof, they're extremely precise, and I actually respect that a lot, because they made their marks on the rear section where I'm supposed to put screws into, and because I was already spooked with the rear section with other roof, I made it my own way and all the holes and all that, the tension and everything based on the old canvas. That was a mistake, just saying, because that canvas is 30 years old. It was stretched out a lot, and that's bad news. But anyway, I mean, I'll make it happen. I mean, as you can see, the windows are perfect, the lines are good, everything is nice. This line is good, this window is nice and round. Yes, I have to wash the windows from the inside because it is what it is. Like I said, it's real life. It's not like I'm making this some sort of a show. This is just like what's happening now. The roof tension, very tight. Okay, fine. And I had to actually move the locks upwards, the rear locks, because I made this tension so high based on the old roof tension, right? The old canvas tension, just to make sure that these windows are like straight. They are right now, like an arrow. There's nothing wrong with that. Very, very nice looking. But now we have the new roof. So the new roof is glued in here, just the front portion, just so I can have tension on the roof. And when I did it the way I wanted to make it happen, that was not right, because the old canvas was stretched out, right? So the center bar here is extremely important, but I cannot change the position. I re-glued it, right, just about 3/8 of an inch, just to relieve the stress, and I lifted the locks upwards, so I relieved some stress of this portion for the tension. And I also want to have these screws covered up. I don't want them to be visible, because many jobs I've seen that these screws right there, they're visible. So I did not want that to happen. So I closed them down and tensed it up like the way it is. But now what I have is that the center line over here lines up, right, for the bar to, you know, to tighten it up more or less. It's not exactly what it's supposed to be. This one does not. It's not the deal breaker. I can make it happen. I mean, like I said, I can correct this. It's going to be fine. But the biggest issue is right over here, okay? And that's not even like, that's a big issue which I can correct. And the biggest issue is this fold right here. That is not also like critical, because I can still make it happen, and I will make it happen. It's going to be fine. It's just that I have to put so much effort into this to make it nice, whereas that I should have just like trusted somebody with their marks. Okay, I wanted to do it my way, and I do have enough space here to flip this material over. As you can see, that this isn't glued yet, because this would have been the last, well, it's not the last. This is actually important, because you have to have these lines lined up right here, because you have to glue this over also properly, right? But if the roof is too tight, then the roof is not going to close. That's just what happens, because the hydraulics are not strong enough. So that is why I have this glue right there. There is some glue underneath right now, and in previous videos, as you can see, there's some glue there. But I'm keeping it like this because I want this to stretch overnight, so to give me like another maybe like 3/8 of an inch, so I can pull this material over. Right now I do have enough space to pull it, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to like over stress it, and therefore I'll let it be overnight. I'll cover it up, but it's just like I was way too concerned about the rear glass, I mean rear windows section, and the center lines and this and that, and I omitted one very important thing: the old canvas overstretch. Yeah, that's what I did. Another quick addition before I go to bed and wrap up for tonight. It's like about 1 a.m. in the morning, and I did decide to do the front portion, right? So I glued this up beneath. This section was glued and the glue was still there, but it's not really that bad. It's just glued in. Again, I rolled it and it's fine. So the lines over here, obviously I wanted to preserve, so we're clear. And because I made a little more tension on that line, I do have the slack enough, you know, that's just enough distance here to put the molding in, right? So this molding is gonna go in just fine, because I do have slack here now. Previous video showed that this was short, so yeah, that's that. The rest of the roof line is fine. As you can see it, it's all good. But the reason I did this tonight is I wanted the glue to set, and I wanted this roof to stretch a little more. Let's take a look at this corner. Same situation here. The screw is still there, the bolt, and I'm like right at the edge of the rebar that I'm supposed to glue it. So this is going to be removed, and the hole is going to be repositioned. So that's that. The roof looks nice. All the lines are there. So I'm gonna just let it sit overnight, stretching out, and tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow is the Labor Day, and I will be working on the Labor Day. So yeah, I'm gonna have to fix these folds, right? So just because I have to fix these folds, glue this section in, put all the trims, and yeah, and then I have to clean the roof from residues and all that good stuff, marks. Once it stretches out, I'm going to lower locks down a little bit to create a little bit more tension on the bottom portion here. This portion here, it's not bad. It's just like I just want to make it, like I said, as best as I can make it. And we should be good to go. The car is running right now because the battery has been used up a lot. I've been using the roof. Now this section here is lining up pretty well. As you can see, it's right over because the roof stretched out, right? So I made it stretched out. The only area that is not, this is like pretty much centered right here. This is good. The only area that didn't stretch out is this one because, yes, like I said, my fault, half an inch here and there. But this is the edge of the rail right here where my finger is. Although I'm still going to glue it, it doesn't matter. After it sits, it will stretch regardless. It doesn't matter. Right now it's like a basketball. It's very nice. So you drive around with the roof stretched out this much, it's going to be nice. Window is going to be straight and all of that good stuff. It's just like, I think I put too much pressure on this, but I mean, you know, it's still going to stretch out regardless. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be the same after years to come. But I was actually going way too much into stretching this thing, tighten this thing up to make the rear window to be like as straight as you can get it to be. This is like nice. And these things to be like round and all that, you know. That's what I wanted to see. Yes, maybe I overdid it a little bit. That is true. I did. I overdid it. But regardless, it will stretch out and it'll be fine. Alright, so that's it. Time to go to bed. Take a shower and go to bed. Park the car away. And let the glue set. And tomorrow I'm gonna get to the final touches. This one has to come out and whatever. It's gonna be tomorrow, but right now I'm okay with what I see. This looks pretty good. And yeah, I rinsed the car up a little bit because it was hideous. It's just like, it hasn't been washed in like 2 months maybe, or a month at least. So I'm gonna have to wash it at the end and just run it with the buffer one more time just to make it shine. All right, so now it's going to be final for sure.